quite as impressive. There were no other Power 5 schools that had offered him by the time he had committed. Some of his offers were Siena, UMass, East Carolina, Buffalo, Iowa, I think considered it, and they decided not to. And technically he was offered by Nevada, who is actually going to be a top 10 or a really good team this year. They did well in the tournament last year, and they returned, I think, all their players. So they're supposed to be really good, but they probably, some people think they, rescinded, or it wasn't a real committable offer from them. So he is a left-handed player, just to throw that out there, and he got offered by the Huskers on July 23rd, so we've been watching him for a little bit. He visited September 12th and committed, yesterday was the 23rd, in the Nike EYBL League. I'm assuming that's AAU. It seems like somebody said that he had some pretty good teammates, but he averaged 9.2 points per game, 44% from 3. He was 54% from 2, which are pretty good numbers. That's good to see. The 3-pointers were 15 for 34, and he averaged 2 assists and 2 rebounds. I couldn't quite find his high school numbers. He had 19.8 points per game, but after looking, I could only find 3 other games that got recorded. He had 4.7 rebounds in those 3 games and 2 assists. 2.3 assists per game. I think he had a few steals in there too. I think 2 per game, but obviously 3 games is not going to tell you too much. From the video that we saw from him, is kind of mixed. I think there were some questions about his athleticism and just especially vertical leaping ability and probably quick leaping ability. He's 6'3", and he could dunk a few times. Didn't seem super difficult. So that's good to see. I compared it to I have a, I think, 30-inch vertical, and I'm 6 feet tall, and I can't dunk. So he must be decent. But I think you see that in just getting up again right off the bounce and being able to explode up. We always make fun of Kevin Love. He just gets swatted all the time, even though he's 6'10", because he just can't jump quickly and have that burst. But obviously, I don't really know what his vertical is, and it's just watching film. He did seem to be a pretty good finisher around the rim, even though he wasn't going up a ton. So, I don't know. I guess I might not be super into that just because it creates less contact and he's fading away from people. But that's not a disaster because it's going in most of the time. He projects to be a true point guard. So he obviously has some pretty good ball handling ability. I don't think I saw anything that was special or incredible. But it's always good to just have those ball handlers. You usually don't need too much. And I think I read an article that said he could play off the ball because, just do whatever for the team. And he obviously, hopefully, can shoot the 3 well. I'd like to see bigger numbers than that, as in quantity of shots. But if he can shoot the 3 like that, he could obviously play off the ball, just catch and shoot. I think that's all that I have on Woods. But this definitely, both commitments bring up something that we've been could be worried about here, and that's just the fact that we have a lot of guards on this team. Right now, we have 6 commitments, or 6 players who will be here for the 2019-2020 season who will be juniors, and here are the names. Deshaun Burke, a guard. Nana Akinton, a guard. Thomas Allen, another point guard. Thorier, another guard. Dadoch Chan, who's at least a bigger player, not in that 1 or 2 range, but even as we were saying about the team picture, which is always the way that we determine the real player's heights, he he looked about the same size as Amir Harris there, and he's 6 feet, which is, I guess, good for Amir Harris, but he looked quite a bit shorter than like Tanner and Copeland and those guys. So I've heard that he might play 3, he might play the 5. Hopefully he can just be really strong and be able to at least compete down there. But he could be another even guard. And then we have Jervray Green, who we were obviously talking about, another 6'3 guy, along with even Carrington Davis and Amir will be sophomores, and Micah Adams-Woods will be a freshman. So that leaves us with 2-3-ish players who are 3 to 5 range, which are Roby, who might be gone, and Dadoch, Chan, and Brady. So we're kind of wondering how that's all going to play out. Obviously, there's always a chance that people transfer. There's a pretty good chance in this situation that somebody may end up transferring just because it doesn't look like there are going to be the minutes to go around. We do have 3 more spots, or maybe 2 more spots available for the 2019 recruiting class after these 2. So hopefully we can fill that in with some bigger guys. And I guess 3 more if Roby leaves, which hopefully he will have a great season, but hopefully he won't leave. But I see that as almost a likely thing at this point. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Wanted to add real quick on Green. He also, when I was watching, he played off the ball, at least at the start of the game, most of the time, but he did sometimes bring the ball up, so he could be even another point guard who we're looking at, or at least another ball handler, which is always great to just have more guys who can dribble, obviously. And I didn't say anything about his dribbling ability. It seemed to be pretty solid. I wouldn't be worried about him handling the ball at all, which is probably good for a player who's 6'3". I think that is all I have. Super glad that we got these 2 commits. The Huskers are really working well for me, making their news come out all at one time. Super glad to be throwing this out there to you guys. Thanks for listening.